Okay, it's Wednesday, January 29th, 2020. I keep doing that because I haven't figured out a way to label the videos as I'm doing them, so I can name it before I make it. That helps keep me on focus. There's a lot of other good things. And I'm going to be watching over here because the camera is my computer. And my computer, which is off to the side in front there, that's you to this front, but that's where I can see the image of what's going on that screen that should be with the camera. I've had to jimmy rig it. It's a long story, but I had a couple of points I wanted to make real quickly. I'm actually talking faster than I planned to. Try and slow down, baby. Yeah, and reviewing some of my videos, you find, you know, when two people are in an argument and they get talking so fast to each other, they're not taking time to process because they're pumped. Okay. But how often do great ideas come out of that? Never. Occasionally, depending on who you're working with, because some of us can take it to a very high level and drop it just like that. It's like, you know, self-extinguishing combustion. Which brings me, there's a couple of points I guess I want to make. A lot of people online have been doing the experiments, people that are working the same stuff I'm doing, where they poke holes in tin cans. Okay. They do their own home brew. They work on unique enclosures and survival mechanisms and so on, and well, you get the idea. And some really good ideas being shared. I just want to, I mean, most of you that are doing this for real, you're not going to fuck it up. But accidents can happen, little unforeseens, and the more you can anticipate these things, like don't do any of your experiments without at least in one case, okay, for oil fires, grease fires, okay, think about what you're working with and how to fucking instantly extinguish it. Not something where you go bang bang or get an extinguisher. No, that takes too long. You need instant flare up extinguishing. Keep it small, keep it simple. Watch what's around you and try and do it when there's no one else there, because the slightest distraction can send you in a tailspin. And depending on your environment, like where I am, you can't make a mistake. But some of you that are maybe in residences and garages and think, oh, you got all this room above your head and stuff. Make sure you've got something to put over the entire area that's burning. And keep it in a container, a tin can, I don't care what size, not plastic, make sure it's a non-flammable, good size, and and then you have water, okay? You douse it, I don't care. You douse it, even if it's an oil fire at that point, you'll be fine. Because you're dousing the outside edge of the containment that's suffocating it. And it reduces mess and smoke. You can stuff out almost anything if you're prepared for it. And I'd recommend that all of you do that before you attempt to ignite anything. I've been doing this for fucking years and years and years and years and years since I was a kid. And I've been unsuccessful in burning down churches or any buildings or even getting a fire going to any reasonable level other than a contained fire pit or something in a tin can with ethyl alcohol. And in all cases, I generally, since I've been an adult anyway, I have containers of water beside everything I do. In fact, I can't reach for it right now because I'll knock my fucking computer camera over. But it's just about 1.5 feet, 2 feet behind the camera. There's a 1 gallon jug of water. I've got one in every corner of the building here. I got them along the edges and the corners, in and out. I got buckets of water all over the place. In fact, one of my biggest problems is I keep spilling shit, or the rats, I don't give them enough water in the bucket out here, and they'll open one of the containers and you get water dripping all over, and it's not a problem. It dries up fast. In enclosed environments, you can't have too much water unless you're drowning in it, or it's cold. Anyway, I just want to caution everyone, be really careful with all the experiments. I mean, tin cans, you're out in the woods, you're doing your experiment, you got these sharp little edges here, okay? In the wrong spot, they could really ruin a trip. Before ever starting this, I used to have accidents like that occasionally. And being in construction, we learned hitting your thumb with a hammer. Electric shocks, I think, still to me are the worst. No, you know what's worse than electric shocks? You know when you're working with metal steel? Like the metal steel, with the steel studs? They got that really thin metal, I don't know what they got out there now, it's probably the same, but back in the day when I was doing it, and when we cut that to different sizes, and sometimes on the back edge of it, and doing electrical, we're pulling wires through, okay? Occasionally, and I had the end of my little finger here cut off, just there's a little finey flap there. The whole end of it was numb for many, many years. I managed to literally just push it back into place and babied it for several weeks, and it's pretty well healed. It was a long time ago. But I didn't even feel it for a few seconds. And then, ooh. You know, all the injuries we get. Some of us that have made it this far, we're cautious and we're cognizant of that. We've experienced things that many of you don't even know exist. I mean, don't even know. Like when I took instrumentation the day, it wasn't even a registered fucking science or anything. It's like nobody knew about that. It's kind of like being a millwright, but only you do 200 other different things as well. And you're not just, you know, jack of all trades, master of none. You're actually master of everything that you do. And you meet someone that masters something you can't. If it's worth it, we go for it. Like some people say, well, you can't do this and you can't do that. And I go, yeah, well, I used to be able to throw a fucking ball. I used to be able to catch a football. I used to be able to check someone in the hockey. I used to be able to be a goalie. Right wing, left wing, center. Like after a while, there's no point in proving what you've already done. I did the Cub Scout car races. I discovered a few things about people. And here I am. Gotta leave it there because my hands are fucking cold. I'm getting thirsty. I only plan to be a few moments to talk about the being cautious. And the other thing was I had an epiphany earlier about my drawings and about fire and about nature and about the patterns of things. When I talk about my drawings, it's my artwork. I would do these sketches on black paper or on white paper with black pen. And they were quite elaborate. And if you look on my David DeVita page on YouTube, there's the cover on it has a sample of it, of one of the pieces. And at the time, I didn't understand. I just thought, it's the same. And then in nature, I'd be out walking and I'd see representations. If I blurred my eyes, the trees at night and everything would blend into this pattern and look to me the same as if you did a wireframe diagram of everything around me at that point. It's kind of what I like tonight. I can see, and then you see these openings and these holes and these bubbles you go through. You see the edges where you're going to have a little bit of a hard time, where it's just not even worth it. You'll climb on top of it. And it's kind of like an adventure, and I sit there and fantasize, and I keep thinking, well, why isn't it like that everywhere? Like, what's happened to all that empty space there that, you know, as they call black space, I call empty white space. I just started thinking about the drawings I do were like, they were showing the bubbles of reality and thought in any given moment. So it's like if you trace out a line with your eyes as if imaginary pen was doing it and it was yours. For me, it's easy because the lines flow with my own natural flow. And you start noticing this multi-dimensional aspect to it, but how do you show that on paper in black and white? And I realized as I went through and traced some of the lines, I could remember the thoughts I had while I was doing it. It freaking near blew my mind. It was like, whoa. I did it a few more times, and a story started to unfold. At first fragmented, and I thought, well, that's because I picked up in the middle of somewhere and I haven't got the relevance yet. If I knew where the start point was when I first laid my pen on that paper and started tracing through it, I'd literally remember everything. I thought, what an amazing ability, and useless in a way. So how do we apply that to tin cans, recycling, getting back to nature, and figuring out, you know, how to live a more comfortable life in harmony with everything. You know, no more violent reactions or explosions or noises or sharp, you know, other than heavy metal music, any loud noise I think should be banned. Including airplanes leaving their little metal fragments, because the way them engines are built, you can't tell me that there's not little metal string fibers, okay? I mean ultra fucking micro thin, that fragment and break up in the air and form these web fucking things all over everything. And if I'm wrong on that, prove it. And chemtrails, by the way, are bullshit. They're actually the metal ion trails, and they're not ions. They're like they're literally, it's like metal thread, almost like a glass thread, but made out of metal, and then just they're totally invisible to the naked eye completely. I've done no research on it. I just was watching how rocket stoves work. And as I built the tin cans and watched the metal fragments coming off in different colors, and I thought about a jet engine and vaporization pressures and et cetera and et cetera and et cetera. You guys do the math. Okay, that was off topic. Well, it's not really. It relates to the artwork. I wondered what those drawings meant, and I realized they're related to everything I see. And in watching a fire, I realized they suffocate because they're in these little bubbles, and they're so deep, and it just gets dissolved into nothing. That's why a lot of my drawings I burned. A lot of the things I've done I've burned. I'll burn this. Oh man, I'm getting to the point where I'm too distracted. I've been sitting here for a little bit, and my hand is getting so cold it's gone fucking numb again. So, to get blood flowing it just so I can feel the mouse. Oh, and by the way, that's what I'm using over top of my mouse, on top of a piece of insulated board. Not board, what do you call it? Foam styrofoam insulation. And over top of that, I got another one that's kind of sitting on top of it. Anyway, they're all forming these layers. And it's just like the fire. I thought, if the air could come in and dance together and form these geometric harmonious patterns. Think about when you do sound and sand on the and it forms all these different shapes of certain sounds, and those certain sounds are key and nodal, and at times where the visual looks beautiful, the sound is beautiful, they are actually like the lines on my paper telling you where you are in time and space. Wow, I'm gonna have to interpret this almost for sure, but I thought I'd get it going because it goes back to the days of the gallery, wondering what I'm doing, where I'm going. So many people around me that seem to have it all figured out, not necessarily for themselves, but like it was dependent on what I did as to how they would, you know, enjoy life or not, which kind of makes sense in a way. Let's face it, if you make people feel miserable. But don't you want everyone to feel like you? When you feel good, yeah. When you feel bad, you don't want anyone else to feel bad. You do want understanding, acknowledgement. That can be really difficult when we're all in such a low state at this point, because there isn't much hope. We've come a long ways from nature. The very fact the weather is going to extremes is meaning we got to go to extremes. And look at how I'm dressed right now just to sit and do a quick video in basically something that's way beyond an outdoor tent shelter. Albeit I've got zero heat on right now. Oh, I think I got something doing in the toaster oven, drying out some sticks or something. Just got a message from where? I didn't see where that came in. Facebook? Can't tell. Yep. Hang on a minute. I got a message on Facebook. This is cool. Greg Frost. Trump slams a Canadian PM. Oh boy. Well, isn't that something? Okay, where's the controls here? Alright, we're going to label this one. Oh, I've got to come up with something here. In developing these systems and that, I know what this is worth going through right now. I got to kind of get working on something. Yeah. Alright. Okay, you got to put in there Dave's thoughts on the artwork. I embed a code in it myself that if I got to do a synopsis on the whole thing, at the end of whatever my rant is, I'll make a comment of it then. so that if I got to review it, I can just go right to that point. Oh, David was about, got it. Because at the beginning, I never fucking know, so it's useless. A lot of times I'll start off on one topic and end on another. So I'd like to label it as whatever I ended on. And it leads a person to how I thought that. And as we show these different aspects of survival and really going the whole distance of integration on every freaking level there is, it should be an interesting discussion. One more thought, Dave. Talking to myself now. David, the beloved. Aren't you all the beloved? You'd have to be if you're fucking listening to this. Oh, see, now my other hand's cold. Ah! Oh! Ah. Okay, a couple more minutes. Here, put that away. To get warm, I'm gonna actually get up and go outside and just move around. Just walk around outside. In my hallway, outside, I don't know. Sometimes it's warmer to go outside into the open, even though it might be windy and a little bit colder. And I don't know why. I'd like to have feedback from others about that, because it's blowing my mind. I've actually done it a few times. Oh, it's too cold in here. I gotta go outside where it's colder. Well, dress properly, I found you go outside. I think it's something to do with your nostrils breathing that fresh, denser, more energetic air, and the cold and some sort of response. Because when you breathe in that cold, I know at night, I got my head right in the doorway, which is basically just an open doorway, my bed shoved up into the corner, and then a little bit of a, I got a duvet cover that I draped over, so I just push it aside, and my head is literally in the outside air when I'm sleeping, most of the time. And I find I can get up just with one layer on, and I don't have a lot of blankets on me, like last night, just a duvet cover, you know. It's like, it seems so light and simple, but it does. Something happens, and if you wear too much and you start sweating, it's no good. It's really hard to get all the balances right. So as we all share these different stories and review each other's information real time, and my thing is, I see so many fucking actors out there. Like, if you got time to fucking dress up and lay your tin cans out and do your video, see, I got to be careful with that, because am I criticizing some of the people that have brought the information? What they've done is they've dressed up the boys and girls like us in the background, and by dressed us up, I mean they've reenacted our words and stuff, okay, as best they can to demonstrate the points that we're making. Welcome to Google Chrome, a specialized team. You've heard of the FBI Facebook integration? Federal Bureau of Investigation? What the fuck is that? Holy shit. But look, we got all these things out there. We might as well integrate it all the way. Don't you agree? So what am I calling this video? What day is this? This is so easy. I just solved the problem. It is Wednesday, January 29th. Okay, oh, someone just saying it's a secret mission. You acting like you don't know, from Eminem. Oh yeah, from the FBI song. I should bring that up. Actually, I wonder if I can. Okay, I've lost the video. Oh, guys, you have to bear with me. Yes. Okay, this is tricky. That's it. Oh, you got it. Nope, she left it there and just fucking vetoed it. Sorry about the noise. There. No, now I got an ad pop up. Hang on, no thanks. And